Hello and welcome to Senior Speak New Hampshire. I am Karen Ulmer Dorsch, the producer host of this program that is being brought to you on your Concord TV by AARP, who is the sponsor, AARP New Hampshire. And it gives me really great pleasure today to welcome one of my very dear friends and someone with whom I talk more than I talk with my own daughter because we're always busy. And that is Pam Dube, who is our Associate Director of Communications for AARP. So without further ado, Pam, it's wonderful to see you, and I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Karen. It's great to see you too. I can't wait till I can see you in person again sometime soon, but I appreciate you having me on the show. Just a little bit about myself. I started at AARP almost a year ago. Before that, I've had a 25-year career in nonprofit communications in the state of New Hampshire. So it was a great time to make a new move to my next nonprofit. I love working at places that really make a difference in the community and for individuals throughout the state. And I'm just so pleased to be here at AARP New Hampshire.
Well, we are just really thrilled to have you also, Pam. So tell us about your role with AARP New Hampshire. What does a typical day look like?
Okay, well, a typical day is never a typical day. I'll start by saying that because AARP is a really busy place. I come in the morning thinking I'm going to get one list of things done, and I leave with another list of things done. There's so much work going on at AARP with all of the different advocacy programs that we're involved in, with programs for community members, for our AARP members, and for all the different communications that we are responsible for putting together, not only traditional media, but also digital online media. So every day is a little different, which keeps the job really fun. I had the distinct honor of having my first year include the New Hampshire state primary, which was a little crazy. And then just a few weeks after that, we all got sent home. So I have been working from home and having communications central from my home and just trying to stay in touch and keep everything moving every single day.
And Pam, where is home?
Well, I live in the seacoast area of New Hampshire in a beautiful, tiny little town called Newfields, New Hampshire, near Exeter and Stratham. Absolutely gorgeous here. I'm feeling like if I needed to be quarantined anywhere during COVID-19, this was the best place to do it. It's a town that's more like a neighborhood. We have the beach nearby, we have walking trails, we have a rail trail. It's just a beautiful place to be, and it's been easy to take breaks during the day and go for walks and kind of refresh my mind living where I live.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
And what does the AARP team look like? The staff, the volunteers, and the members.
Sure. So I am one of 5 staff members here in New Hampshire. It's a very small, very hardworking team of paid employees here in New Hampshire. We have a state director. We have myself, who oversees communications. We have a team member who oversees all of the community programming and outreach. We have another team member who's involved with advocacy. And our 5th team member is the person who holds all of us together with everything. And then we also have occasionally interns on our staff. So that is what our office looks like. We are headquartered in Concord, New Hampshire, right above Gibson's bookstore. It's a fabulous location. So then to kind of go out on the circle a bit more, then we have our team of volunteers. And we have so many fabulous volunteers, nearly 200 of them in the state. And Karen, you know, you're one of our more active ones. I'm calling you all the time when I need something. So we have a great group of volunteers. Some are retired, some are still working. They represent communities throughout the state and really integrate themselves not only with staff members, but also with our members when we do programming. And then, so the next big circle are all of our members in the state. We have nearly 220,000 AARP members in New Hampshire, which is amazing. When you think that New Hampshire is a state that about 500,000 people are age 50 plus.
Yeah.
About half of them are AARP members. And the other half, I'd like to think, are members yet to be. So it's a great organization that is extremely welcoming and is really tailored to fit whatever a member's needs are.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm just totally impressed with. I'll tell you what I love about AARP, and that is that the state office employees and the volunteers who are really very active are like family. I mean, we work so well together. It's just a marvelous, marvelous association. And I'm going to put a plug in to those of you who are watching and are retired and are looking for something exciting to do. You couldn't do better than to join AARP and become active. They treat the state office treats us like kings and queens. I will tell you, when we're able to meet in person, there is always food, there is always wonderful companionship, and it's just a great, wonderful experience.
So I agree with you, and I have to say that, you know, I'm speaking for the entire staff, but we do not take our appreciation for our volunteers lightly. Our volunteers are the reason why we are able to accomplish so much on so many different levels in this state. And we are fully aware that volunteers are folks who are doing this job because they enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, there are a lot of other options. There are so many places you can volunteer. And some of our volunteers are also volunteers for other organizations.
Right.
But we know that we cannot get our work done without our volunteers. So we work very hard to make sure not only do you feel appreciated, but we find the perfect volunteer slot for you to meet your interests and your time commitment.
That's right. And I think it's really important to say that one of the reasons that I love this, and actually just never even thought I would ever be interested in involving myself with politics, but we're nonpartisan. We don't support any candidate. We listen to all of them, and we want to get the views from everyone so that we can just inform our voters very well as to where candidates stand on the various issues that concern us. And that's wonderful. Plus the fact that as a volunteer, the work that we do here in the state is we don't deal with any money. We couldn't enroll people if we wanted to. We are totally not ever going to sell anybody anything because we can't. And that's really fun.
I think we're not selling anyone anything, but we're giving away a lot of fun.
Yes, we are. And we give away a lot of little gifts too. I mean, I'm using all of my little gifts all the time. What kind of local communication projects do you work with in AARP, Pam?
Sure. So in a normal year, we are out in the community a lot, holding many different kinds of events at the Palace Theater, at the Audubon Society, at ice cream nights, coffee and conversation. So we're out in the community a lot with our volunteers, holding events for members to attend for free. This year has been a little different. A lot of my communication normally revolves around creating awareness for those events. and creating awareness around um, any advocacy projects that AARP has. So there's a lot of writing involved with my job, press releases, blog posts, social media, um, just a whole host of things to promote these in-person activities. Of course, once COVID hit in March and we all retreated to our homes, our in-person events ended and have been canceled through the end of 2020. So we have had to shift I have had to shift to doing communication work more in this virtual space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the thing that's really great is we are at a great time in our world for being able to communicate with people online. So a lot of my work has switched to getting the word out through social media, through our website, through Facebook events, and really giving people a way to connect when they are at home instead of being out in the community. So, of course, we can't have ice cream nights anymore, but we have done some great online sessions for people. We've done yoga, we've done some about voting, we've done a whole host of presentations online. So my work has really switched to promoting that and also to promoting the resources that AARP has nationally and locally for issues that have come up since COVID-19, nursing homes, social isolation, getting people connected to food, a whole host of issues that we weren't dealing with on such a high level before COVID-19.
Right. And so moving on to national projects, Pam, can
Yes,
you talk a little bit about your work with those?
yes. So AARP is a very large national organization, and there are state offices in each state. So I have the benefit of working with a very small team locally and a very large team nationally
Yeah.
that helps with support of communications as far as if I need something designed, if I need to roll out a certain initiative that AARP is rolling out nationally. You know, one of the things that I can use as an example is AARP nationally and in the state offices has been very focused on lowering the high cost of prescription drug prices. It's called the
Yes.
Stop RX Greed campaign. So because that's a national initiative, I get a lot of resources from national to bring down to here in New Hampshire and then get spread out locally here. So I have the leeway to be creative with what's going to resonate with Granite Staters, but I have this support from national to start with. So those national projects are really important. You know, right now we are in the midst of Protect Voters 50 plus, which we
Right.
have been pushing out ahead of the state primary and ahead of the general election, to let people know everything they need to know about their voting options, whether they're voting from the polls or voting by absentee ballot from home. So that has been a strong focus here. And like I said, those national materials come to us, but then we tweak them to be relevant locally for our folks here in New Hampshire.
Uh-huh. Boy, that is that's a huge amount of work.
It is, but you know, the thing I love about this job, I'll go back to what I said in the beginning. I feel passionate about working for a nonprofit. And I know every day I am taking care of communications and messaging that will make a difference in someone's lives. And so that's a great motivator for getting up and going to work every day. It really is.
Yeah, that is. It is a wonderful feeling, and I love all of the I love all of the things that we do because I know that what we're attempting to do for the 50 plus uh, citizens of the country is to help them age um, actively and just normally
Yes.
in their communities, and everything that we do is focused on making their lives richer and rich until they breathe their last breath, till we breathe our last breath, because I'm in that
Exactly.
group. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's just a wonderful, exciting way to spend my encore career is what I call it, because really I think I'm as busy now or busier than I was when I taught for 45 years. And there's no summer break. I mean, we're 12 months around.
Exactly. So I'm gonna turn the table on you, Karen, because you and I are very involved in one aspect of AARP here in New Hampshire, and that's the Speakers Bureau.
That's right. So
And
talk to us about that.
I have to reveal that Karen is one of my lead volunteers on the Speakers Bureau. And then I'll have her tell you a little bit about her role. But AARP New Hampshire has a volunteer-run Speakers Bureau. We have about 35 members in the Bureau, and a menu of about a dozen presentations that we do for free out in the community. Places like libraries or senior centers, civic groups, any place that is looking for a presentation. We have a variety that are of interest to people who are 50 plus, and also people who will someday be 50 plus, which is all of us. So some of those involve, downsizing and decluttering your home, how to decipher fact from fiction online, a whole host. I won't go into all of them, but Karen, why don't you tell everyone about your role in Speakers Bureau?
Okay. Well, I was a teacher for 45 years, and so that was my passion, was to share information, to learn from my students, and to give them something to think about too. And so I was very, very excited to take over as the trainer of the Speakers Bureau, who trains other people my age to give the presentations that we offer. And that enables us to really get all across the country, the state. If we have people who want to have a speaker, and it's free and it's very informative, and so I train the people who are going to be giving our presentations. And one of them that is coming up in the near future, well, in November, there is one on cyberspace for people who are really techies and use their computers or
Yeah,
whatever, their social
yeah,
media a lot.
yeah. And the
And
great thing about that one too, Karen, is with cybersecurity, it's, Black Friday is coming up and all of the holiday
oh, yes,
shopping. So it's a great time to kind of just brush up on being safe online when you're, paying for things with credit cards and using Wi-Fi that isn't at your house and
right.
all that. So that's a great one for people to brush up on right before the craziness of the holiday shopping.
Yeah, it really is. And then also coming up very soon will be one called Home Fit. And that is retrofitting your home. Most of us, like I live in an 1810 farmhouse in New England, which is not really up to snuff as far as smart homes are considered. And it's not just that it's for people who have older homes, but it's for people who are looking to buy newer homes too, to look at young people who are taking a look at what features there are in homes that might be, if they're planning to live in that home until they breathe their last breath, they might be wanting to look for these features that make it a home that you can live in for your entire life. So I think that's really important.
It is a
And
great one. It's a great
yeah,
one
and
because when you think about the improvements that you can make to your home versus the cost of assisted living or a nursing home, this workshop really focuses on letting your home age with you. And
absolutely,
yeah,
it really does. And I mean, my husband and I have lived in this home for over 40 years, and we absolutely love it. It's we've lived here longer than we ever lived anywhere, and we just love it, and we want to be able to stay here for, as long as we possibly can. So
Yes.
I've learned a lot from that. I'm excited about that presentation
I think
because,
that's going to be a good one.
yeah,
I think one of the other things we just need to mention to people is that our Speakers Bureau has gone virtual this year too. We're used to, pounding the pavement and being out there in the community doing face-to-face Speakers Bureau presentations.
right.
We have switched to the online space. So the two upcoming offerings that Karen and I just talked about, those will be online. And if you're interested in
Yep.
registering for those, again, they're free. You can go to our Facebook page or our website and just register and join us. And then, we are hoping that sometime in 2021, we will be back to the in-person space. But what we've learned is that the virtual space isn't all that bad for some people. So we'll continue some of those virtual presentations as well. Karen's going to be training everyone that's doing them.
Well, and that talk a little bit more about how COVID-19 has impacted our communications. The online programming and so on.
Yeah, it's been a tremendous shift. I think that one of the things that people love about AARP and the presence that we have in the community is that it really offers people a very social aspect, to get out to go see a show or to grab a cup of coffee. There's a very social aspect of AARP, and we've had to pivot in that space because even though I can talk to Karen every day, it's not the same as seeing her and giving her a hug and saying, "Hey, how are you?" It has forced us to pivot, and this online space is very attractive and accessible to some people, but not to others. So what I keep telling people is, I promise you, AARP will be back in person. We don't know when yet, but we will be back with some of those great programs that we've always offered and a bunch of new ones. Because I think after this is all over, there's going to be a readjustment period for everyone, getting back out into the world again. And that's going to happen in phases for people. So AARP will be conscious, with our members of that and realize that, not everyone's going to rush out into the world at the same time. So we'll be sure to dovetail our offerings with where different people are with their comfort level.
Right. And switching here, I think that we have learned a lot, and I never thought at 82 I would be learning all the tech that I've been learning through all of this,
I
because
know.
technical work is just not anything I'm terribly excited about learning, but it has really it's opened my eyes to a lot of potential. For one thing, we're able to reach people from throughout the state now so much better than we were when we were in person, because in person we were really focused on the Manchester area, the Concord area, and the Seacoast area, and that was about as far as we could go. But with virtual we can reach the whole state, where people have access to the social media or the internet, and I think that's absolutely marvelous. It really excites me because I'm not in the Concord area. I'm Sanbornton, and we've had people from Franklin and from Meredith and everything, other places as far as Coos County, really joining in on our yoga.
Yes.
The yoga that we offer monthly. So I think there's lots of opportunity here.
Yeah, I think, as difficult as this year has been, there have been a lot of silver linings too.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you that AARP in the virtual space will not go away. We've all learned a lot, and we've learned that this is a niche that really appeals to a lot of people. So
Exactly.
although we'll go back to in person, we will continue with the virtual. It's a great way for us to reach people who we may not have reached otherwise.
Right. And also with winter coming on, it's a wonderful way to communicate because we don't have to be out there on those roads.
Right.
Pam, I can't thank you enough for being my guest today. It's just been a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you, Karen.
and to hear all of the wonderful work that you do with AARP. You've been such an addition to our staff. We
Thank
just
you.
we just love you.
Oh, good. I
So
love being here.
yeah, but so until the next time, viewers, thank you also for joining in with us today. And I will see you again next month. And until then, be good, do good, be one.